Hi everyone, my name is Jackie and welcome to my channel, Enjoying Life's Journey. So today we are finishing out the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman, and I actually want to give you guys a challenge. So think of it as either a 21-day challenge or a 30-day challenge, however you guys want to do it. We have 2 different challenges. I originally was going to do just one challenge, however, there's a game or a challenge, if you will, in the book as well. So I wanted to present 2 different challenges to you guys, and you can decide which one you want to do. And you might pick one over the other for a few different reasons. So I'll go over what the 2 challenges are if you guys want to jump in and improve your relationship. And this could be done with your significant other or even your children if you wanted to strengthen your relationship with them. So the 5 love languages, basically there's 5 different love languages, and they're 5 different what we call emotional love languages. So if you want to learn a little bit more, I have some other videos. We've gone over the other chapters within the book, and I go into each area a little bit in more depth. Basically, each of us have a primary love language, or a primary way that we feel emotionally loved. Gary Chapman mentions in the book about your love tank. So whether your love tank is running on empty or whether your love tank is full and things like that. So one of the games in here is actually called, he calls it the tank check. The love tank check, or the tank check game, it's kind of a game that you can play with your significant other if they're more on board, if they're more receptive. The fact that you've been reading this book, and that if you want to work on your relationship, you may approach them saying that you want to be a better wife or you want to be a better husband, and you think this will be a way to help you achieve that. It's also a good game if you're not fully aware 100% what your love languages or what maybe your spouse's love languages. So it's kind of a good game. So I'll explain a little bit more about what that game is here in a second. So the second challenge that you can do, and this is if maybe you know pretty much what your spouse's love language is, and maybe they're not so on board with what's going on, and you want to help improve the relationship by filling their tank, which is really nice. Each love language has ideas here. It actually has about 10, I believe all of them have 10 different activities or things that you can do for that particular love language. If you know, so again, the first one is if you might know what you and your spouse's love language is, or your child's love language is, but this is a fun way if they're involved to keep them involved. The other thing is if you're not really sure what it is, you can use that tank check game to figure it out. The second challenge of taking the ideas actually in the book is if you know what your spouse's love language is. So let's talk about the tank check. So the tank check, Gary mentions in the book here that you want to do it 3 days a week for 3 weeks. So this is why I said you wanted to do a 21-day challenge or a 30-day challenge. You may even want to do it, say you want to do 3 days a week for 4 weeks. However, you can kind of switch it up. But the challenge is that you basically rotate. So your spouse comes home and you ask them on one of the days, how full is your love tank from 10 to 0. 0 being it's empty, 10 being it's full, I can't handle any more love, I'm good. And then they'll give you their number, and then you ask them, what can I do to help fill your tank? And you basically do whatever request that they have. And that's how you're gonna feel. You're gonna start seeing a pattern of what type of things that they ask you to do. If they're asking you to help out around the house, more often than not, then that's going to be a sign that they are acts of service. If they say, I really would like to go out on this date, or I'd really like to go do this, I'd really like to go, sit and talk, then they might be more of quality time, quality conversation. If they say that they want to snuggle, hold hands, or even make love, then they may be physical touch. It's a good way or a good indicator to try to feel out what your spouse's love language is, but also if you're not sure what you are, you can kind of listen to your response. So again, you're doing it 3 days, for 3 weeks, but you're rotating. So basically, you start the week, you know, say you ask your spouse, and then the second day they ask you, and then the third day you ask your spouse, and then the following week you go, then they go, you go. You get what I'm saying? So you kind of go back and forth, and you play this fun game. So I think that would be really fun to play, like I mentioned, if your spouse is on board to do it. Now, if your spouse is not on board, now again, you could play that even with your children. They may not understand the idea. You maybe figure out a way to explain the game to them. Obviously, they're, you know, not having them do it for you, but you could even ask them, you know, how loved do you feel? What would you like, you know, what can I do to make you feel loved? And you can kind of get a sense for what your kids' love language is as well. Now, if you absolutely know, like I mentioned, if you absolutely know what your love language is and what your spouse's love language is, this is a challenge for you to do if you and your spouse are struggling quite a bit and maybe you're not talking openly that much, or it seems like a hard subject to bring up, or they're not really on board, they don't really want to hear what you have to say. This is a good thing for you to do, to start expressing your love for your spouse in their love language, and hopefully by doing this 30-day challenge, they will start opening up more to you. So again, pick what their love language is if you know. If you don't know, maybe try to feel out 1 or 2 if you think, you know, they could be either or, and pick, again, there's 10 ideas in each of the languages. Some of these they'll say do it for an entire month. So you can either pick one that says do it for the entire month, or if you want, you can try to do a mixture of them, or maybe even try to do all of them within the 30 days. So there's 10 of them. So you could basically do 2 or 3 of these a week, just to kind of ease yourself into doing it. I think it would be really fun. Ricky and I have agreed, because Ricky is on board. So I've been telling him kind of what I've been reading. He has read my love language and his love language, and we did the assessment in the book together. So we are going to, for coming up this month of June, for the month of June, Ricky and I are going to play the tank check game. And we decided to go ahead and do it for three days for 4 weeks. That way it's kind of like even how it goes. So I'm gonna start with him, and then it'll go me, and then him, and me, and him, you know, like I said, 3 days a week. We haven't really picked what days. I was kind of just thinking randomly, I don't know, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, who knows, you know what I mean? So just pick like whatever 3 days, and you can go back and forth. The other thing that I'm doing in addition to that, this is the one I'm getting Ricky to do, that we're doing together. In addition, I am going to do the second challenge that I mentioned, but I'm going to do it a little bit differently. His primary language is physical touch, and when he did the assessment, he actually had the other ones basically tied, and they were still ranked fairly high. So pretty much all of these love languages, they're going to touch everybody at least a little bit. You're going to have your primary one. So what I decided to do for a fun thing for me to get in the habit of showing more love and affection and appreciation for my husband is I'm going to gear his primary love language on 3 days for the week, and the other 4 days I'm going to focus on one of the other 4 love languages. So I don't know if that makes any sense to you. So basically, you know, love languages are words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, acts of service, and physical touch, okay? So like I said, there's 7 days in a week, so 3 of those days I'm gonna focus on his primary love language, and then the other days I will pick one of the other 4, and I'm gonna try to do something from the list, the ideas in the book. So those are I've actually taken on 2 challenges for myself. And then, like I mentioned, Ricky's gonna join me for the tank check. It's really gonna be beneficial for you and your spouse to do this. I think it will be fun. Let me know in the comments if you are on board to participate. And again, so just the month of June, let's go ahead and focus on our 5 love languages, on actually applying the stuff. Now that we finished reading the book, let's go ahead and start actually applying what we've learned in the book. If you haven't finished the book, that's fine. Continue to read it and finish it as you go. And then join me for the month of June in reading our next book. So June, our next book is actually going to be How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And so I'll be talking about this next Friday. We'll be talking about that. And we'll be doing a little bit different structure for the book club. So you guys can pick up any of the books from our book club. I have links in the description box from Amazon if you want to pick them up online. And basically, every Friday, this is our book club, and we're going to be discussing the books that we're talking about. Again, every book that we're picking is focused on improving one area of our life. So we read the book, we talk about the book a little bit, and then we actually apply some of the lessons, the ideas, the principles within the book in developing at least 1 or 2, maybe 3 new habits in our daily lives to help improve that area of our lives. Hope you guys are enjoying our book club Fridays, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.